Snatching Defeat from the Jaws of Victory, Why the Leading Cause of Failure is You. Hello, everyone. My name's Tessa. I'm the Director of Marketing at IdeaPros, and I have Cary with me, who is the CEO of IdeaPros. And I'm going to let Fred take it away from here because I don't have much voice left. So I'm sure Fred's happy about that.
Well, that is a slight blessing, but we do. You still have your laugh, so we got that going for us. Hey, everybody! Look, this show is a fundamental show because it really is the backbone of what we all need as entrepreneurs, and what a lot of us don't have as entrepreneurs. We have so many opportunities to fail. Our failure can happen day or night. It can happen when we're ordering prototypes. It can happen when we're designing software. It can happen when we're finding new partners that don't turn out to be good partners for us. Financing, the friends and family that said that they were going to come support you and didn't. So many opportunities every single day for us to fail. And the difference between companies that have gone out there and made it and the ones that haven't is the ability to sit there when failure comes at you every single day. And that's why I kind of turned that phrase around. You know, the real phrase is snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. But often we find ourselves in the opposite position. We're ready for victory and we end up defeating ourselves because we don't have enough time, we don't have enough patience, we don't have enough energy, we don't have enough belief in ourselves to keep staying the course when things aren't going the right way. I've seen that so many times in my career. I've had to face it with my employees, my executives, with suppliers, distributors, in a variety of companies. And I have to face it all the time, even in my current business, because there's always things that can go wrong. If you can imagine, one startup, 100 problems a day. We have 300 startups that we're helping manage as they grow. A lot of them are launching, but they still need advice. The number one thing that you can have that's consistent in every single type of company that you run is problems. You're going to have them, no matter what you're building, whether it's science or a shuttle, whether you're dealing with a sandbox or trying to land on the moon. Every single organization has problems, and most of those problems are not anticipated. And so when you have problems that aren't anticipated, you have two ways to go. You either face those problems and screw me, how did this happen to me? Or you face those problems and you need to understand that I'm trying to do something that nobody else has ever done. I'm going to do it perfectly, but I'm going to get in a car for the very first time as a 10-year-old trying to turn the engine on, start driving down the highway and not run into things left and right. That's what we're doing when we're entrepreneurial and we're moving many times from a career to this big blackness that we've never experienced before. So there are going to be so many opportunities to fail, but there's also an opportunity to succeed. And only by wading through those opportunities to experience what failure is, to learn from what failure is, and to go forward will we get to the finish line. I like to talk about failure as kind of potholes on the road to success. I did a live on Wednesday, and I think I used that phrase then as well. The road you're going to go on is going to be full of these potholes. You have to anticipate it. It's going to take too long. It's going to cost too much. Suppliers and manufacturers are going to disappear just when you're ready to order from them. You're going to have a pandemic that shuts the entire world down just when you're ready to launch. There's so many things, both micro within your organization. Joe quit. He was an instrumental part of my group. To macro, the pandemic, or things with tariffs between the United States and China, or back up because the barge in the Suez Canal just closed everything down for 3 months. Those type of things are not controllable. The micro part or the macro part. The only thing that's controllable is your mindset and the way that you're going to address these problems when they come, and the understanding that no, it's not for you. It's the way the world works. If you can start looking at things that way, then the opportunities that you're going to have are going to be so much greater, because you're not going to quit really early in the game and guarantee yourself a loss. Tessa, I don't know if you have a question at this point. I know you're sick, but
No,
it's hard for you to just sit there not saying anything. So.
I know. Well, I'm trying to bite my tongue right now. I know it was so inspirational, so I didn't want to mess it up. Well, I do. I have a question, and that's really, how do you come up with a way to get through these potholes? What's the best ways to get past the problems and not be letting yourself succumb to that? Obviously, you talked about mindset. Is that a daily activity? What do you recommend?
The expectation that when you go to bed at night and you put your head down on the pillow and you say to yourself, wow, nothing fucked up today. Treat that as a very special day. And always have that expectation that something is going to mess up, and you're there and you have your armor on, you have your sword or whatever you need, and you're ready to face it, whatever it is. Lately, even me, with all my experiences and everything, I have recently, in these last 2 months, faced some enormous issues with one part of our company that's delayed some things, and could have been disastrous if I didn't say, hey, you know what? Boy, I wasn't expecting this, but these things happen. And I went out, saw what the problem was, found a resolution, started incorporating it, talked to my partners about it. And I'm literally back on track with something that could have destroyed other people. I mean, it's stressful enough that some people could just stand up and say, I can't do this. But that's part of being an entrepreneur. Part of being an entrepreneur, look, you got 3 billionaires trying to fly into outer space, right? They think they can do anything. I call it billionaire Russian roulette myself, but they think they can do anything. And so they try. They don't limit themselves. And you have to feel the same way. I don't want you in a rocket ship, but you need to believe that your life is a rocket ship. And once in a while, you're going to make a turn that you're not expecting. So my point about going to sleep with a smile on your face when nothing happens, expect that to be the unusual case. Expect your normal process, even when you're done and you're selling, expect the normal process to be, there are going to be issues, and I'm going to deal with those issues. And if you don't expect that, then when an issue comes, it's going to be a blame game. Who did that? Why did this happen? That damn manufacturer, I should have picked somebody else. The guy who built my prototype didn't do it the right way. The warehouse, I told them to tell me when we had 1,000 units left. They didn't tell me until we had 100. Now I'm delayed. This happens every day. And if you don't want to do this, then you don't want to be an entrepreneur, because you're going to be the most miserable son of a bitch that's out there. But embrace all this stress, embrace all these issues, solve them all on a daily basis, and you're going to make it.
I think a couple of things that you said too. If you are going to bed at night, maybe look at what did go right too and write it down. I know that sounds silly, especially when there's so many things that you've got on your mind as a business owner, but I do like to celebrate the wins and write them down, because then when I'm really, really stressed, I can look back and say, okay, you know what? I got through XYZ and I made it through and I'm still alive. I can make it through this next chunk of whatever I have to do. And Fred's seen that in businesses. You've had all of these successes that you can always look back to. The other thing that you mentioned is that you talk to people. And I think that we get all limited to our own, what we know. And us as entrepreneurs, we feel like we have to do it on our own. So surround yourself by the people that can maybe see a perspective outside of what you're seeing or help you solve a problem. Have those people that you can turn to, because you can't do it all alone, for sure. Entrepreneurs is not.
And look, in regular life, I do recommend having a journal, writing in the journal, and putting your thoughts down, your plans, your purpose, your micro goals. having that incorporated in every single part of your life. And certainly there's nothing wrong with, and probably it's a great idea, what Tessa said about just writing some progress that you made today. But if there's empty pages in there, don't worry about them, tear them out. Because we tend to focus on the negative. We tend to focus on what we shouldn't be focusing on. And our brains don't know how to process that. So when you're focusing on the negative side of things, you're very likely to have that as a result. For example, I'm going to tell each of you right now, do not think of an elephant. Don't think of an elephant. How many of you, write down that you haven't thought of an elephant? We all do. The second we have something that we are not supposed to be thinking about, we focus on it. So your whole mindset, you have to understand that we move towards the negative. We move to what we're not supposed to do. We move to the fact that the manufacturer screwed us. We move to the fact that we were building things and they didn't come through in time. And if you focus there, you're never going to leave there. You guys, how many people are still thinking of the elephant? Right? You're never going to leave those negative situations. You have to learn how to focus on the positive. Screw the elephant. You have to figure out what you need to be doing to make things really happen, not focus on the things that didn't happen the way you wanted them to happen. That's such a great amount of wasted energy. And when you're wasting energy and you're building something that's never been done before, that combination doesn't work well, because you need all your strength on the positive side of things. And if you have a problem, the only thing you should think about that problem is, how do I solve it? Mm-hmm. Not, oh my God, why did this happen to me? And if you can change that attitude, then you're not going to have to worry about losing, because you know that you're going to keep going until it happens. As long as you have a good idea, as long as you're in a good place, as long as you have a good team around you to support you, it's going to happen. Maybe it doesn't happen in your timeline. Maybe it doesn't happen as fast as you think it's going to happen. But if you have the fortitude, the integrity, the stick-to-itiveness, the support system around you, and most importantly, belief in yourself, then it's going to happen.
I love that. Well, we don't have any questions in the chat, but we do have a comment, and I just want to bring up something specific here. So Patrick Worley, who is one of our awesome partners, thisvaultsforyou.com is his product. He says, always be prepared for challenges that allow us to become stronger and more prepared. Always allows us to learn. And Patrick, I know you've gone through quite a few things too. I'm going to put your website in the chat since it launched, and we are getting his product going, but he's run into several challenges and been able to get past them. The vault is really cool. Check it out. And we also have Sean Reed mentioned that those delays keep improving his weakness. I know Sean's got an app, sagescheduler.com, coming out too. And so he's been experiencing how to get past those potholes as well.
They're actually doing a dark launch of it right now. As Sean, you may not know this, you may want to call Jay and his team. But
a dark launch, it sounds interesting.
Well, we're not publishing it. People are not going to be able to find it, but it's going to be all in the store where we can test it.
Wonderful.
Look, think of it this way. You are a prize fighter, and you've made it to the top, and you're ready to do battle. And you go in the ring, and nobody else is there. Is that normal? No, it's completely not normal. This is what entrepreneurship is all about. You're in the ring every day. And if you get out of that ring and there's no competition and there's nobody trying to punch you and you're not slipping on the sweat of somebody else or falling against the rope, then you're in the wrong game. Then you're probably building something that nobody wants, right? When you are trying to create something that is going to change the world, change your world, make advancement in anything, in any arena, in any sector, no matter what it is that you're building, if you're not getting those bumps and bruises you're probably not going to win. And so you have to be prepared for them to come at you, because you're trying to do so many outrageous things. And when they do come at you, you and everybody associated with you better hold hands and say, we got this, instead of point fingers and say, why did you do this?
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Fred, for being on today. I'm sorry I haven't been my lively self, but I'm going to let you go, Fred, and then I will chat with everyone over in our comments area. Is there anything else that you want to leave us with before I close out here?
Yeah. The average entrepreneur fails 3 times before they're successful. That's the average. The quitter fails 1 time and never becomes successful. So if you're an entrepreneur, do not let temporary failure affect you. Understand, as I said, it's just a little pothole on your journey to your success.
Thank you. Well, thanks so much, Fred. And everyone, thank you so much for being here. You guys are committed entrepreneurs week after week, every Friday at noon Pacific time. You guys show up with me. I just really appreciate you all so much. Barry, Jason, Sean, Vance, Kelly, Janelle, I don't think I've seen you on our lives before. So give me a quick comment. Let me know where you're watching from and what you're working on in your life. Martin, Bongo, Phil, thank you guys. And we do have Yeti to work over there. Yay, Vanessa, good to see you. Odin, Playoff Sports. Well, let me say Playoff Sports Tech over there. And Shelly, you guys, thank you. Patrick, you guys are awesome. Don't forget to hit the bell if you're not getting notifications from us already. And in the chat, there is a link to sign up to get notifications by text if that's easier for you. And there's also a link for questions if you guys have any questions. Now, next week, Fred doesn't know this, but as long as he's willing to commit to it, I'm going to have him do another Ask Fred session, which means you guys can ask questions that you want Fred to answer. So he has such a broad spectrum of knowledge, so you can actually tap into that brain of his and get your questions answered. If you want to put a question on today's live feed, you can do that. I'm going to go back and look at all of the comments, and I am going to see you guys all next week. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.